Hi everyone, I'm just planning another trip, one of the other ABR trips. We're going to go to Aberystwyth. We're going to do the Welsh route. I can't remember what one of the ABR routes it is, but that's the one we're going to do. And we're going to do that on the 20th and 21st of April. But if you recall from the last trip that I did, I had problems with my sat-nav in that it was wired into the USB within the front. And with all the other luggage in there, that broke, and I lost power to my sat nav. So I've decided to wire the sat nav into the bike, and I wanted it on a live switched wire, so that when the ignition is off, the power to the sat nav goes off, and that means if I leave the sat nav connected to the bike, it's not going to drain the battery. And also the mount, which I'll show you in a second, the mount that the sat nav sits to. If that is left on the bike, which it will be, technically if water gets in there, it could create a current between the 2 points that power the sat-nav and potentially cause a battery drain. So for me, I wanted it on that switched live wire, so that when the ignition's off, it won't drain the battery. So I had struggled a little bit to find somewhere to do that. So the solution I've come up with, and I'm not sure whether it's the best solution, but I'll explain. What I've tried to do is and the sat nav doesn't draw a lot of amps. I've found a live wire which comes off the bottom of where your brake switch is, your front brake switch, so that when you pull the front brake, that activates the rear light. The one that's nearest the sort of you when you're riding the bike is the live wire. There's two on there. They sit on two little spade connectors, and the one at the back is obviously the earth. Now I've then connected that to that. I've connected the earth to the bed of the brake lever, which I'll show you in a second. Run the wire down here and just tucked it all in nice and tightly. There was a surplus of wire, so I've just put that up together. That can then slot under there, and then I have this as a live feed. What I'm going to do is I'm just about to test it. You'll see whether it all works. It should work. I'm pretty confident it works, and because I've bugsed it out with a thing. So this is my mount, and that screws onto the handlebars. Now, one thing why I'm doing this, it's worth mentioning. You will see on some bikes that they have a sat nav mount that mounts up here, and this solution wouldn't probably be good for that. And the reason being is that you've got to run a wire up the back of this dash somewhere to be able to get power to it. And when you turn the steering wheel, that wire is going to be under tension. So as I have my sat nav fixed to my handlebars, that ain't going to be a problem. And in fact, it helps because I have no external wires running to the handlebars. Everything is mounted on the handlebars, and that's a real plus for me. But anyway, let's have a go. Let's connect it up. And with a bit of luck, well, it ain't a bit of luck, I know it's going to work because I've buzzed it out with a meter. But hold on a second. Right, so that's it connected to the sat nav, and we have no power. I'm going to turn the ignition on, and hey, presto, as if by magic, we have a working sat nav. Now that's going to be really cool for me as I turn this, because the wires are all isolated on the handlebars. There's no stress or pressure on them, and like I say, the amount of ampage that the sat nav is drawing, I don't think it's going to cause a problem to that circuit, and that circuit is already fused through the bike. So when you pull the brake, the back brake light will come on. And just to prove, I'll put this here. You can see the back brake light is using, the sat nav is not being affected by that, and everything's a good one. So that's a good one. So just a few things to point out, and then I'll end this video. Is on this side, let me just turn the ignition off. Right, I don't know if you can see, under here is where I connected the earth. So I just took that bolt off of there. And put a spade connector onto there. There is a little bit of a trick you need to play to connect it in there. So I don't know if you can see, this is where the wire is coming in. The earth wire is coming through and connecting to what I just showed you, and the live wire is coming up into this connection here. To connect that, I bought these little piggyback spade connectors. So I don't know if you can see them there, and that has slotted onto the spade that's already there, with my sat-nav wire coming out the back, and this spare spade on the back of the piggyback. These can bend, you can manipulate these, is plugged onto there. So at any point I want to return it to stock, it's a piece of cake. I can just pull this spade off, pull the existing wiring loom off of that spade and reconnect it. So I'll talk about those in a sec. Well, no, when I talk about this now. So I couldn't get the right size. They're quite small, the spade connectors on there. So I bought the standard ones. And what I then used is my trusty old metalwork file to take this down a little bit. And just by trial and error, I brought the width of this spade down so it was fitted. So if you can see there's the original and there's the finished version. I did it by feel. I don't know what that measurement is, but you can see it's took quite a few millimeters off of it there. But I just kept just niggling away at it, keep testing it until I got a nice tight fit. The connector at the back, I fixed one of these ring spades on there. They're easily commonly available. I bought these for about something like £3 or £4, I think, off of eBay, and I had to use, actually that was a small one, that was the one I didn't use. The one I actually used was one of these blue ones here, and that is taken off with a 10mm spanner, and I think there it is, there's my 10mm spanner. And what I then just did is routed it down the cables under the headstock back up here, and used some little cable ties, some small cable ties, nylon cable ties. I think they're 2.5 times 100mm, just to secure and tidy up the wiring. And for me, I think that's not a bad job. And with a bit of luck, I won't have any sort of power failures. So let me just give you the last bit of information that I wanted to share with you. Is the sat nav itself is powered. Let me see if I can find something. Probably the scissors are the best. The sat nav is powered through these two points here, and that sits onto the mount. Yeah, this is a TomTom, and it sits on here, and it's those two connectors there. So if this was live all the time, but as I had it before, what would then happen? Well, actually that wasn't live, but if I had that in live by connecting it straight to the battery, any kind of moisture, or if it rained, got between those 2 points, I believe that's going to cause a bit of a short and a very, very small battery drain, and I just didn't really want that. And plus, you know, I just think it's a better solution. Anyway, that's it. Nothing more than that. Just hopefully it'll give you a bit of an idea about what I did. And please, if you think it's a rubbishy idea and there's a problem with it, let me know before any mistakes happen. But I think that's pretty okay. All right then, bye all.